Hi, this is Ayanna with Black Atheists of America. Welcome to our 17th session of The Bible Actually Says. In this series, we discuss the Bible. We move through the Bible as it should be read, cover to cover. Today, I have with me Ray, who is also a member of Black Atheists of America. While we will not be reading every verse, we may choose to quote the Bible. If so, just know that we will be using the King James Version. We will start by recapping last week's show, then pick up where we ended off, and go through as many verses as time permits. I hope you enjoy the discussion. Please feel free to comment and subscribe. So last episode, we were introduced to Abimelech, and Abraham, he was confronted by Abraham and Sarah, and again they lied and said that they were brother and sister. God came to him in a dream and said, hey, don't go taking Sarah. It is Abraham's wife. We also had a situation where Sarah has a kid, and she decides that she wants to kick out Hagar, who previously, if you remember, had a child with Abraham. So Hagar is kicked out of the dwelling with her kid, and for some reason she's required to carry her kid. And that's pretty much it. So turning to Genesis 22, chapter 1, and it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thy only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains, which I will tell thee of.
Now, this is the God that he worships, right?
Right. This is the good God.
This is the good God. This isn't the evil God that would tell you to go kill your own child. Don't we have a T-shirt based on this particular?
We do. So this is crazy. It's crazy. What else is also crazy is the fact that now he only has one son. I mean, remember, because God last time was like, don't get mad that Sarah's upset at Hagar, or that Sarah's jealous of Hagar. And now he's saying, now you only have one son.
Yeah. I mean, the whole last chapter, at least half of the chapter was based on this difference between one son and the other son. Now we get to the very next chapter, and God, who wrote this thing, has already forgotten that there's two children involved.
Either that, or he's making Abraham in his own image, a deadbeat dad. Chapter 22, verse 3. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up, and went unto the place of which God had told him.
I wonder, did he tell his son?
Well, he obviously told his son, well, come on, let's go hunting.
We're going for a ride,
we're going
yeah.
or something. We're going to spend the day together.
Then, on the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young man, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you. So I guess he is telling his son that this is just going to be a walk in the park, a walk in the forest. Wait, I have a question. How old is the son? Was he just born last chapter?
Yeah, this is the one that was just born, because the other one is like still under that bush or something.
Yeah, he's like 16. So we're on verse 6. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they both went of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? That poor kid.
Well, you know, the child has a point.
Yes.
It's like, Dad, okay, I got the wood thing. I see the wood thing. I got that, right? I see the fire thing that you got working. I got that. I see the knife. I got that.
Yeah. But where's the animal?
But there's something missing here. We don't have anything to burn.
I don't know what is going on. I mean, I don't. How old is he? I mean, it just simply says, and it came to pass, but we don't know how old he is.
No, but apparently he can talk.
He's old enough to talk and old enough to reason out that some things should be burned.
Yeah, because when we left him last chapter, he was an infant.
Right.
So now he's walking, talking, and carrying wood. Don't know how old he is, but he can't be like 5. He must be like...
Yeah, he may be like, well, maybe 7.
If he's carrying wood, yeah, he could be 7 maybe. And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went, both of them, together. He just lied. He said God was going to come up with a lamb.
That is so mean. Abraham has this lying thing down. And we're rewarding lying in this story. Lying seems to be a virtue if you read this correctly.
Yeah, lying is a virtue in the Bible.
It has to be. I mean, the Pharaoh, he gets rich off of the Pharaoh from lying. He gets rich off of Abimelech for lying. It's a virtue.
So if I was a worshiper, I couldn't believe a word God said.
That is true. Verse 9, and they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. This is supposedly, again, the good God.
Is this the same son that he expects to go home with after this whole incident?
I don't know, but notice which son is going through the torture. This is Sarah's son.
Sarah's son.
First, she can't have kids. Then she can have a child. And then God decides, why don't we sacrifice him just because?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's messed up.
That's pretty bad. So first she's barren, and then God gives her a child at 100. And then her husband takes the child and puts him on an altar to burn him off.
Yeah, for more drugs for God. Chapter 22, verse 11. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me.
Only son?
Only son. They're forgetting about Hagar. Now we're in verse 13.
Yeah, but hold on. I don't
Oh.
get this other part here.
Mm-hmm.
And for now I know thou fearest God. But this guy is only the messenger.
Yeah.
So obviously, God must have changed his mind at the last minute and sent this guy down to put a stop to the sacrifice. I wonder why. Maybe the angel talked some sense into him. If you don't stop this quick, there ain't going to be no Isaac nation.
I wonder what happens now, though, in the household. Like you said, is this the son he's going to go back home with? What kind of father-son relationship do you have now?
I don't think you would have a good one.
I can't imagine.
You know, Abraham should not be raising children.
No.
And then again, how is Sarah going to react when they get home?
She's going to be pissed.
You took my son out and did what?
You made me have a son. You cried and cried and cried about having this son for a decade. I finally have this child, and then you go and try to kill it at the altar. And there's nothing good about this story. I don't know how people who believe this story could twist this into something positive. As to this level of faithfulness being a good thing, this level of loyalty being a good, this is a horrible thing. There are certain things you should not be loyal to.
You and your junkie friend took my son and did what? Okay,
Yeah.
Verse 13. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram, caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son.
So now he's still providing the drugs to...
Yeah, it's like, okay, you don't want the kid, so the ram is okay now, God? Is that cool with you? Because, it doesn't matter to me. Kid, ram, same thing.
See, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Verse 14. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah-Jireh, as it is said to this day, In the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven, and the second time, and said, By myself have I sworn, said the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemy.
This is crazy. Didn't God already do this 2 or 3 times before? He says, okay, look, I'm going to make you a whole bunch of kids like the stars in the sand, okay?
Yeah.
And now he's coming back and saying, okay, I'm going to make you a whole bunch of children like the stars in the sand, okay?
No, but what is crazy is the fact that you give a guy who wants to kill his son more kids. How is this justifiable at all?
A whole lot more kids. And he doesn't even remember that he had a son.
At all.
Yeah, but now he's down to his only son.
I don't know what is going on with these people.
So he has at least 2 sons. He loses one after kicking him out, forgets all about him, takes his only remaining son, puts him on the altar, and God says, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of more children. I think Abraham just doesn't care.
I think so too. They're giving him, why would he? They're giving him an unlimited amount of kids.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. As many
They
as
have
you
no
want.
value.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If you had, how could you be the dad if you had the number of sand children? Each one of them by name?
No. So they got that stupid song, Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He has no value. He devalued his children.
Only God would be capable of devaluing a human life.
Yeah. That's true.
So verse 18, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice.
And these are people who haven't even been born yet.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. This chapter is hilarious. Because he keeps starting over. We had to blow up a city a couple of chapters ago.
Yeah.
Verse 19. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. I have a question about this. What did he say to his people back? Remember, he left them in the beginning and said, hey, me and my son are going to go take a walk. Just stay here and watch the asses.
Yeah.
So now he's coming back with his almost burnt son.
Well, no.
Yeah, I'd like to see how he reunited.
They were just waiting there, waiting for him to finish murdering his son. And
I wonder, this is so crazy. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she hath also borne children unto thy brother Nahor, Huz his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram, and Chesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Jelop, and Bethuel. And Bethuel begat Rebekah. These 8 Milcah did bear Noah, Abraham's brother.
who are these people? They just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they got crazy names, too. Huz and Buzz. I mean,
Those seem like lazy names considering all the other names in the Bible. And 24. And his concubine, whose name was Rumah, she bare also Teba, and Gaham, and Thahash, and Makkah.
so it says here in 23, these 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor,
Yes.
Abraham's brother.
Right.
Where did Abraham's brother come from? Wait a minute, we had Lot. That was his nephew for most of the time. Then it turned into
Right.
his brother.
Right.
So as far as I know, he didn't have any other brothers.
No, I don't think so.
So he has one now. This brother just popped out of, what is this? His long lost
Maybe he was in one of
Ca-
the other, I don't know.
came to visit, or
Yeah. Out of nowhere. There's maybe a couple of pages missing. I don't know.
I wonder if he had dirty feet.
We will never know. So now we are turning to Genesis chapter 13. We're going to start with the first verse. And Sarah was 107 and 20 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarah.
So does that mean she was 127?
Yeah, I would think so. And Sarah died in Kirjath-arba, the same in Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. And Abraham stood up from before his dead and spake unto the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. Did he just demand this?
Yeah, he just walked up to these people and say, I need a place to bury this old lady.
And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hear us, my lord. Thou art a mighty prince among us. In the choice of our sepulchres bury thy dead. None of us shall withhold from thee his sepulchre, but that thou mayest bury thy dead. And Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth.
He couldn't find any place out of all of that land that he has. I mean, he's got as far as the eye can see, if I remember.
Yes.
And he had to go bother these people to find a burying place for this old lady.
That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, he does like to take over things for no reason, just unnecessarily cause ruckus.
He's like, how cheap can you get? I mean, I'm not using my land. How about those people over there? Yeah. Okay.
So we are on verse 8. And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me and entreat for me to Ephron the son of Zoar, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he hath, which is in the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it me for a possession of a burying place amongst you.
Okay, let me get this straight. Now, he's sitting down, communing, I guess he's eating,
Right.
with these people.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying to them, if it be your mind, as if they was thinking about this.
As if they proposed it.
Yeah. Then go out and get this other guy so I could get this cool cave that he has at the end of his field.
Right. And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth. And Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth, even of all that went in at the gate of his city, saying, Nay, my lord, hear me. The field give I thee, and the cave that is therein, I give it thee. In the presence of the sons of my people give I it thee. Bury thy dead. And Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land.
There's probably been some rumors going around town about God and his junkie friend. Abraham and his junkie friend God.
Yeah.
And they've been blowing up cities and robbing kings. And now Abraham rolls into this guy's town and says, I need some space to bury this old lady here.
So we are on Genesis 23, chapter 13. And he spake unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if thou wilt give it, I pray thee, hear me. I will give thee money for the field. Take it of me, and I will bury my dead there. So he does offer money.
Yeah, maybe I'll pay you for it.
And Ephron answered Abraham, saying unto him, My lord, hearken unto me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that betwixt me and thee? Bury therefore thy dead. And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron, and Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver, which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant. You know what's funny? Going back to Hagar, a bottle of water, really?
And a piece of bread.
A piece of bread. This is horrible.
Sent her out into the desert.
I forgot that, or somebody forgot that he had a son. I don't know if Abraham himself forgot. Verse 17, And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field, and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders round about, were made sure unto Abraham for a possession in the presence of the children of Heth before all that went in at the gate of his city. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre. The same is Hebron in the land of Canaan. And the field and the cave that is therein were made sure unto Abraham for a possession of a burying place by the sons of Heth. And we are moving on to chapter 24. So we're in Genesis chapter 24. We're starting with verse 1. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house that ruled over all that he had, Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell. But thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac.
So he's telling his head servant to go find a wife for Isaac, the same kid that he was getting ready to murder in the last chapter.
I'm surprised Isaac stayed around. But what is this about putting a hand under a thigh?
I don't, somehow or another, he needs to do that to
swear?
To swear to God.
This is a new thing.
So he's telling him, make sure that you do not get the wife from among the Canaanites, among whom he dwells. So I guess that's where he's hanging out.
He's
now.
like, these girls ain't good enough for him.
No,
Make sure.
He says get him from his country.
Right.
Where he has his own country? Well, he's got that Beersheba place, right?
I think so.
Is that his country?
I don't know. So we're on verse 5. And the servant said unto him, peradventure the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land. Must I needs bring thy son again unto the land from whence thou camest? And Abraham said unto him, beware thou that thou bring not my son thither again. The Lord God of heaven, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and which spake unto me, and that swear unto me, saying, unto thy seed will I give this land. He shall send his angel before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. So he's relying on God?
Yeah, well, God's going to send, he's telling his servant, look, I'm telling you where not to get the girl from.
Right.
But don't worry about a thing, because God's going to send an angel, and the angel is going to take you to the right girl. And then you can bring that girl back, and under no circumstances are you to take my son with you. And the servant is like, what if the girl doesn't want to come?
And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from this my oath. Only bring not my son thither again. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and sware to him concerning that matter. That thigh again. I don't. It's kind of weird.
That's a weird way of making it better. I mean, what's wrong with shaking hands?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Abraham's a weird man. And also, I mean, he's saying, drag this woman. How dare she not want to come with you? In verse 8. Totally odd.
And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master and departed. For all the goods of his master were in his hand. And he arose and went to Mesopotamia unto the city of Nahor. Nahor? Isn't that his brother's name?
I thought so.
Okay, here we go. Chapter 22, verse 23. To Nahor, Abraham's brother.
Right.
Abraham's brother has his own town? That's how God wrote it.
Right. And he made his camels to kneel down without the city by a well of water at the time of the evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. And he said, O Lord, God of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day, and shew kindness unto my master Abraham. I guess he doesn't want to really be there. He's like, I make this woman come fast.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to come back empty-handed.
That too, but he seems to want it to come immediately.
Yeah, so, be kind to Abraham.
And now he's Master Abraham. So now we are on Genesis 23, verse 13. Behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water. And let it come to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, let down thy pitcher, I pray thee, that I may drink. And she shall say, drink, and I will give my camels drink also. Let the same be she that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac, and thereby shall I know that thou hast shewed kindness unto my master.
Okay, so he's talking to the Lord now, and he's saying,
he's telling the Lord how to make
this thing happen.
Right.
Exactly. And
so that he knows who the right person is.
Right. I want her to stand right here.
Right.
And
no confusion. That's really what it is, because he's probably thinking to himself something along the lines like, "You love screwing up crap, so maybe if I give you a roadmap of how this is supposed to work out,
yeah,
maybe you'll make the task a little bit easier."
Well, this brings us to the close of another Bible session. And what did we learn today? Well, I've learned something very important. If you're going to make funeral arrangements, bring the corpse with you. This is Ray signing off.
And this is Ayanna with Black Atheists of America. Please feel free to subscribe and comment. Thank you for listening.